The Scottish Championship has treated us to some exhilarating title races in recent years, and this time hasn't been any different. Not many were tipping Raith Rovers, though, to be the team to put pressure on massive early favourites Dundee United. And for Rovers, to be fair, this is their biggest chance of a return to the top flight since 1997. So, what have been the success factors for the Kirkcaldy side? Joining me to reveal all the juicy secrets is Chief Executive of the club, Andrew Barrowman. Thanks for joining us, Andrew. How are you?
Thanks for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm very well, thanks. How's yourself?
Excellent. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's always excellent to have people who are genuinely inside the club that can speak to us and give us the real gossip. That's what we're looking for.
I'll try. I'll try my best.
Look, Raith are a point behind Dundee United as we record this podcast. And this, you might find, and maybe others might find this an odd place to start, but as we know, like the season for all clubs has ups and downs. But it was excellent to see manager Ian Murray get given a contract extension at Christmas time. But would you say it's fair to say he should stick to managing rather than acting? Because
Yes,
that VT was special. That was a
I would
special gift.
say. I would say so. Myself included. I'm not. I'm not going to shirk away from it myself. I wasn't great. My performance wasn't great either. So that was a bit of fun. Listen, we've tried to be quite different in our socials this year and try to just be a bit, break the mold a little bit. So that was probably a fine example of what we tried to do. We kind of had it planned. Our Rory Kilgour, who's our digital director, had it planned for a few weeks. Obviously, negotiations with contract sometimes takes a little bit of time, but Rory, I don't think he was that bothered about Ian signing a new contract. He just wanted to be able to run with his idea, the video. So that's what it became about for him. But no, in all seriousness, it was a bit of fun. Um, when we filmed it, it probably took about 2 hours. I think the first hour was fun, and the second hour was a bit of
Two
a
hours
drag.
to do all of that. So you took the role of chief executive in May last year. So is it, I'd like to kind of know, like from an early days in the new job, did you feel like even from a board level as well that the club was well equipped for a promotion push this season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we recruited pretty well in the summer. We got some work done early as well. We got the squad sort of in place pretty early on in pre-season. We deliberately did that. We felt it would give us the best chance of sort of being ready for the season's kickoff. The club finished seventh last year, so I think it's fair to say the aim was to be competitive in and around the playoff places. I think that was the target. But as I said, we built a squad that we felt could compete at the top end. Pretty a lot of experience in terms of championship. Boys that had won division, had been promoted, had won it outright. So again, there's pretty deliberate action to kind of do that. Doesn't obviously guarantee success, but I think it helps to have players and the nucleus of a squad that have kind of been there and done it. So it's fair to say it's probably went above expectations, but certainly we built a squad that we thought could compete at the top end.
And how different have you found it, like in your career trajectory? Going from Kelty Hearts as a sporting director to chief executive. What are the similarities or what are the big differences in those roles?
Yeah, lots of similarities. I think the numbers are different, obviously. No disrespect to Kelty, but there's Raith Rovers a lot more fans. There's
Mm.
budgets are different, everything that kind of goes with it. I was fortunate enough, although my title was sporting director at Kelty Hearts, Dean McKenzie, who was the sort of owner of Kelty, got me involved in lots of aspects. So I was pretty much helping him running the club on a day to day. So I would get involved in commercial and things like that. So I was probably learning. It was a great learning curve for me for 2 years. I was able to get access to different things that probably a sporting director wouldn't really get involved in. But
Hmm.
it stood me in good stead for that next challenge that we'd sort of ambitions to come along at some point, and obviously Raith probably came along a bit quicker than we had sort of spoken about. But yeah, it was a really good grounding. Learned a lot, made lots of mistakes, which I think is important. I think that sometimes it's the only
Yeah.
way you learn. So all in all, it was just a great platform. I was appreciative and very fortunate to be given an opportunity.
That's an interesting point as well, because you're an ex-player, and a lot of ex-pros tend to go down the coaching route. Um, there's many out there that have gone down the administrative kind of thing, but you described on Wikipedia as a bit of a journeyman, 15 different clubs as a player, and of course 2 spells at Dunfermline. So what's it been like coming to Raith? The rivalry in Fife, and have the fans welcomed you with open arms?
Yeah, I would say so in the main. I think probably at first there was a bit of apprehension or banter, call it what you like. But yeah, no, I think winning games helps that, I suppose, as well. If we'd been getting beat most weeks, and I'm not so sure the Dunfermline scenario wouldn't have been getting brought up. But no, they've been great, and both sides as well. There's been that friendly rivalry type thing, and we've obviously come out on top in most of the derbies this year. So we've got the bragging rights, so it's all good. But no, in general, it's been well received, and again, just had a bit of fun with it.
Good. That's good to hear. But why were you drawn to the business side of things? Did you think about coaching, or were you always kind of had that attraction towards the administrative side?
Yeah, no, I was. I think when I was at different clubs, I was always kind of drawn to the kind of business side of the club, whether it be commercial. As players, you sort of get dragged to these events and the
Aye.
different commercial things, and players, it's fair to say, probably don't enjoy these things, but I always kind of enjoyed them. I was always really intrigued by them. I was always asking lots of questions. And yeah, I think it was just a natural progression for me. Coaching wasn't really something that really interests me, although I did for a spell at Dunfermline when I went back there the second time. I was coaching under 20s at the time.
Hmm.
But no, I think my focus was always, I started a business management degree through FIFPro when I was
Oh yeah.
28. So even from sort of the age of 28, it was always a sort of plan to go and work in the business side of football or the business side of sport, if I could. So yeah, I'd say it was an interest of mine pretty early on in my career.
I should ask you about the targets when you came in for Wraith. You mentioned earlier, you wanted to be competitive, you wanted to be in around the playoff spots. But has it changed now because of the race that you and Dundee United are in?
No, absolutely. I think we'd be foolish, or I think we'd be lying if I sat here and said that we'd be happy to make playoffs. Obviously, before a ball was kicked, then if someone had offered you playoffs, then of course, yeah, you'd have bitten their hand off. But
Mm,
where we are now, with 12 games to go, a point off the top of the league, I think the way the season's gone, we've taken 7 points from Dundee United from 3 games. I think we're well in with a shout who win in the league. Now, Dundee United are a fantastic team, huge club at this level.
yeah.
Everyone sort of tipped them at the start of the season, so we're under no illusions how difficult that task is going to be. But we'd be foolish, and I think a little bit. I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but no, we have to go for it. We're right in a fight. And yeah, we're absolutely we're looking to win the league. We've got to. We're 12 games away, so it'd be foolish of us not to go for it now. So the way the season's gone, then absolutely we're right bang in the fight, and we'll embrace it, and we'll try and enjoy the pressure that comes with that. So
And it would be perfect, really, to have Raith Rovers. Sorry to any Dundee United fans who might be listening to this, but if Raith were in the top flight, 30 years after they had won the Scottish League Cup, that would be a fantastic anniversary year for the fans.
yeah, it would be. It was there's a few
I
sort of
haven't just
memories.
reminded you of that, have I, Andrew? You're
No,
making
no,
plans.
no. No, no, absolutely not. There's a few. We have a few milestones this year actually with the club, so sometimes you almost get the impression it's kind of written in the stars. But we'll see. We'll reserve judgment on that. But yeah, no, certainly it would be a fitting tribute, I would say.
What other milestones you mentioned there?
The Ramsden Cup final, which was
Yes.
the Rangers, John Baird's goal, and also actually our main stand is 100 years old. So this year. Archibald Leitch, the old famous main stand. So yeah, there's a few few different.
Oh, so you don't want to say it's written in the stars, but it could be. Going back to a point you made earlier about your career and going from being a football player to into the administration side of things, do you find that being a ex-pro allows you to have a closer relationship with managers? So your relationship with Ian Murray must be quite close because I guess you understand the game and the playing side of things rather than and can you see where there might be some difficulties with management and administrators who maybe don't know it? Does that happen sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly, not just speaking about myself, but I think anyone in this position, I think it probably gives a unique perspective. I think I could probably understand things from a football perspective more so than maybe others that hadn't had that background. Whether that's a positive or a negative, then that's for people's interpretation. But I certainly think it allows me a different viewpoint.
Hmm.
Um, Probably an example of that when we first went in the club, the first bit of development work we did on the sort of the stadium was the football environment. It just wasn't right. I went to the game myself, and Dean and the other new directors went to the last game of the season last season against Partick Thistle,
Hmm.
and we were in the. It was the day we'd been announced sort of with the media that we're taking over, and we were in the boardroom, and the boardroom. I don't know if you've been in Starts Park, you remember it. The old boardroom is now the away changing room, and
Hmm.
it was about 15-20 minutes to kick off, and there was just lots of people milling around the sort of main corridor outside the change room.
Well,
And I was
players
like,
and stuff.
yeah, so the player, it's the players, it's the football. So the change room's there, the away change room, the manager's office. And I remember thinking, I was like, this isn't right. Like, this shouldn't be. This is players are preparing to perform at the, their
Yeah.
elite level and their top level. Just the way it was. Again, it's an old stand, so it's difficult. We're hamstrung a little bit with spaces and whatever we've got. But basically, the football department was split up into two. So you had the change rooms at one end, and you had the physio sort of prehab area at the opposite end,
Hmm.
and there was a lot of crossover between boardroom, hospitality lounges. It just wasn't right. So I was pretty strong, and not just myself, but others as well, that was going to be the first bit of investment, and it was a substantial amount of investment that had to go in to change that. Others wanted us to build a new hospitality spaces, money generators. But I said, no, I
Yeah.
said that this is the most important. And I probably said that because I was probably relating that to myself as a player type thing. So, and I think that's worked for us. I think,
Hmm.
players that were here last season returning for the first day of pre-season, I always say I wish we'd videoed it. I wish we had a camera on them because their reaction to see, obviously we made it really nice and we made it a sort of elite environment, but to see their reaction that first day of pre-season, I think it gave everyone a lift again before they had heard one bleep of the bleep test in that first day. So and even new players that were
Oh,
coming, we were trying to attract. In the championship, you're all kind of fishing in the same pond, and there was
yeah.
players that were other teams were in for, and I think just bringing them into that environment, well, I know it really made a difference, and I think it was a place where players wanted to play, and I think once they were here, I think it's a place and an environment where players enjoy coming to their work every day. So again, probably that's a good example of having that sort of footballer's background that sort of I was able to see that and kind of change it. So.
That's really interesting because I think sometimes it's hard from a football fan's point of view to see the differences that a chief executive can make and what executive decisions they can actually make within a club to change certain things. I never thought about that myself, like changing an environment. But are there any other impacts that you've made that you're quite proud of?
Yeah, there's been lots, and again, it's not just me. As a board, we've all got different skill sets. We're all different ages. We're all got different
Mm,
backgrounds, and I think there's, digitally we've been really good this year.
mm. Yeah, really good.
Rory Kogower is our digital director. He's one of the owners, he's one of the directors, and again, that's his background. That's his that's how he makes a living in his own world. So I think just having that skill set has really kicked us on in that. And you don't know what impact that has on other people viewing our club. I tell you, it's you can actually put sort of a monetary value against that, because people are looking at us as something quite exciting a wee bit, and sponsors want to be involved, local businesses, businesses from further afield want to be involved in Raith Rovers. And yeah, it's great because you're at the top of the league and winning games, but I think a large part of that is because of what our digital output is and has been for the season. So there's lots of different areas. We're very much a team. We all work together. I'm sort of boots on the ground there every day. The others are not sort of there every day, but they're very much, we're pretty relentless in terms of trying to make the club better. It's the WhatsApp group chat is very active. So no, we're just all really motivated and passionate about trying to make Raith Rovers a better football club.